Yo, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you all to another great episode of the Scale Your Business podcast, where we want to help small business owners like you succeed. I'm your host, Andrew Dupeval.
I just want to buy my mama a house.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in today's episode. I have a whole lot in store for you all. Now, last week, I briefly went over the top 3 trends business owners will need to be on top of in order to dominate the next decade. Now, today, I'm going to be elaborating on the significance on one of those top business trends, data. Now, like I mentioned last week, data will direct your business. And the right data on your customers, on your business, and on your market will be the GPS you need to get to your destination. Now, when we're dealing with data, you got to know the difference between vanity metrics versus actionable metrics. And if you remember from episode 5, Stages of Business, I defined vanity metrics as metrics like registered users, downloads, and raw page views. They're easily manipulated and don't necessarily correlate to the numbers that actually matter, like actionable metrics. So things like active users, engagement, the cost of getting new customers, and ultimately your revenue and your profit, these are considered actionable metrics, and these are the metrics you should be looking at. They give you insight on how you got to where you're at and what you need to do next in order for you to improve. Now, because there is so much data that business owners need to collect, you got to learn how to categorize each of your data points. Typically, business owners categorize data as internal information or external information. Now, internal information can be data collected from various sources, such as customer invoices, where you'll be able to collect demographic and contact information, such as names, addresses, phone numbers, payment options, date of payment, etc. You'll also be able to collect internal information from subscription lists, customer surveys, and analytical software such as Google, Wix, and social media. Now, on the flip side of things, entrepreneurs can also collect data from external sources, and you can also collect external information from your competitors by logging onto their website and going to their investors relation page and looking at what their customers are doing and how their customers typically behave. So be sure to research and take advantage of all the available data on your market and in your industry. Here are some examples to show you how powerful data can be, not only for your business, but also for the consumer. Now, the first example is an electric company. Imagine that the electric company sent you a text to remind you that you forgot to turn off your lights, or your kids have been staying up too late and taking up too much electricity in a particular room. Now, electric companies already have the data that they need in order to remind you that you forgot to turn off your lights. They already have the data to see which room in your house has been consuming the most electricity. They already have enough data to see which power outlet in which room is using the most electricity. And that type of information can actually inform you and help you make better decisions when it comes to consuming your electricity. It can allow you to talk to your kids and let them know that they've been watching TV far too long during the nighttime. It can also let you know that maybe you've been using too much electricity with your TV downstairs. And in fact, your electric company can actually remind you by sending you a text message that you forgot to turn off one of the lights in your house. Or maybe they can remind you forgot to turn off an electronic in your house by just looking at the surge or the spike in electricity within your household, and then they can tell you which room that's coming from. Now, imagine how much money you would save on your electric bill if your electric company was working to help you save money and working to help you consume less electricity. Now, they already have this data and they can already tell which rooms in your household is using the most electricity, but why aren't they taking that extra step to use that data to help you more? Why aren't they using that data to help you with your patterns, help you make better decisions with your behavior when it comes to electricity consumption? If electric companies actually took that initiative, focused on the customer, worked to make their customers a little bit happier by helping them save money on their electric bill, more people would stay with that electric company that they have. If it's National Grid or if it's something else, whatever it may be, they would stay with that electric company because they like how that electric company puts them first. Now, in another scenario, imagine that the bank emailed you or texted you right before you overdrafted your account. The bank already knows how much money you have today, and they kind of have an idea of what bills are going to come out next week, right? They can look at your data in the past to see that certain bills come on a monthly basis, certain bills come on a weekly basis. Maybe you, as a consumer, you like to go grocery shopping twice a month, and you typically go on the beginning of the month and at the end of the month. And the bank can actually start to take that information by just studying your purchasing patterns. They already have information on your purchase history. Why not look at that purchase history, use technology to find the patterns within your purchase history and help you become a better consumer, help you save money, help you by reminding you that you have certain bills due on Friday and you don't have enough in your account. Instead of just letting you go through the rest of the week, when the bills come in on Friday, either they overdraft you or the bills aren't paid. Now imagine that the bank reminded you a week before your bills were due to put in more money because your account was too low. Or imagine that the bank was telling you that you've been spending too much money on hair care products, or you've been spending too much money on gas, or maybe the bank would tell you that there's a better gas station that's selling gas cheaper than what you've been paying for. These banks have all this data to help you with your purchasing behavior. And if they took that initiative to help you with your purchasing behavior and to help you save more money, more people would choose that bank and more people would stay with that bank and refer that bank to other clients. So these are some examples of how not only the business can use the data to help the consumer, but also retain more clients, but also how consumers can benefit from companies using the right data and adjusting to the customer experience. Now, moving on to the next portion of today's episode, let's talk a little bit about how small business owners and solo entrepreneurs can collect data without a huge budget or with a lot of time. Now, thankfully, there are countless analytical tools and online softwares dedicated to helping us understand the data that we find. Analytics can be defined as the science of using data to build models that lead to better decisions that in turn add value to individuals. Now, there are typically three types of analytics. You have descriptive analytics, which is information on what has already occurred, obviously the past. You have predictive analytics, which is the information on what will happen in the future, which helps you predict and forecast behavior. And then you have prescriptive analytics, which tells us what should happen and how we should handle and react to what should happen. So as we talk about what types of data business owners should be collecting, many entrepreneurs believe that only big and large corporations have the ability to collect meaningful data. And I want to let you guys know that that narrative is completely false. There is so much data that small business owners and solo entrepreneurs can collect in order to optimize their processes and improve their overall customer experience. As a business owner, you have to know what you want to collect, where to find that data, how to read and analyze that data, and lastly, you need to know how to draw justifiable assumptions from that data that will lead you to actions that provide value to individuals. You also got to be able to differentiate between your fixed data versus your variable data. You want to use that combination efficiently to maximize your learning of that one fixed data point. And what I mean by that is, let's say you're looking at your bounce rate and let's say you're looking at your bounce. And what I mean by that, for example, let's say you're looking at your bounce rate and you want to figure out what's the best thumbnail to put on your video to get the lowest bounce rate. Now, your bounce rate is your fixed data point. Your variable is going to be your thumbnails. You're going to be changing your thumbnail options to see which is going to yield the lowest bounce rate. So maybe you might try a thumbnail with a stock photo on it, and then you're going to look at the bounce rate. Then the next week, you're going to try a thumbnail with you on it and a few words. You're going to try that, and you're going to see what the bounce rate is. Then the next week after that, you're going to try a thumbnail with just numbers. Maybe you're going to have facts on it, or you're going to have percentages on it. And then you're going to try that and see what the bounce rate on the video is. And then the week after that, you're going to try a different thumbnail with a picture of a company or a business, and then some numbers, and then the title of the video. And you're going to see what the bounce rate is on that thumbnail. Now you have 4 different thumbnails. Those are the variables. And then you have one data point that you're looking at, which is the bounce rate. And you're looking to see which variable has the lowest bounce rate. So essentially, you're looking for which thumbnail is going to yield you the lowest bounce rate. Again, your thumbnail is your variable, and your fixed data point is your bounce rate, and you're changing your variables to see what's the best variable to get you your best bounce rate or your best fixed data point that you're looking for. Now, 80% of data is not structured or put into columns or organization. So I want you guys to take all the data and put it into Excel sheets, create graphs with it, create charts and tables out of the data that you find, and look at the data in different angles, different mindsets. I want you guys to look at the disparities amongst all of the data, put it into visual representation so that you can visualize the patterns, the trends, the comparisons, and all the disparities amongst all of the data. Like I mentioned before, external information would be the data that you get from external sources in order to help you better understand your market and your overall industry. And once you have an idea about who your customers are, especially the low-hanging fruit clients, you want to be able to keep up with all of the relevant data and trends on the consumers in your market that are similar to your low-hanging fruit clients. This is considered as the market research that you need to keep doing to learn more about your potential customers, future trends, and the behavior of your entire industry, including your competitors. Looking at competitors, especially larger businesses and corporations, will help you tremendously because many of them already have reports and research done on their own customers and on the customers within your industry. So you can use that available data to help you with your own business and help you compete and differentiate yourself from your competitors. Go on your competition's websites, and if they're publicly traded, go to their investors relations tab and start looking at all the available data that they have on their customers in their industry. And ask yourself, does this data apply to my industry? Does it apply to my business? And does it apply to my customers? And if it does apply, make sure that you're able to draw justifiable assumptions on that data so you can make better executive decisions. Now, there are a few apps and online tools that will help you keep up with the industry trends and your competitors. You can use apps like Hootsuite and Tags to help you track all activity and discussions going on under a specific brand or a hashtag. So if you're interested in the hashtag entrepreneurship, you can literally put that in on Hootsuite, and Hootsuite will populate all of the current posts and comments and activity going on under the hashtag entrepreneurship. And this will allow you to see what's going on in your industry, what's going on in your industry, what's going on in your market, how are businesses posting, and how are consumers reacting to this content. Now, when it comes to internal data, you can grab this from multiple internal sources, but you got to be creative and you got to think outside the box. You can look at each department of your business and go through the entire process and function of each of the departments in your business to find the most important data points that would help you run that department much smoother. For example, when it comes to your financials, you can look at your POS data. You can look at your accounting data. And with that, you can analyze the trends and the patterns within your bills, within your expenses and your revenue. You can look at the relationship between your operating cost versus your revenue at different capacities of business operations. When it comes to your customers, you can use CRM tools and softwares like HubSpot and Sugar CRM to track any and all information on your customers your partners, your leads, so on and so forth. So make sure that you segment your customers into various profiles. And my recommendation is that you segment your customers into 3 categories. The first one is your primary target audience. Your second category is going to be your secondary target audience. And the third category is going to be your spill audience. Now, when it comes to marketing and customer conversions, there are so many tools and resources to help you understand what content is resonating with your customers and what you need to improve on to make your customer experience more impeccable. So I want you guys to take advantage of the insight tools that each of the social media platforms have within their apps so that you can better understand how people are engaging and receiving your content. And when you do, ask yourself some of these questions. Do your followers interact with the portrait videos more, or do they interact with the pictures with the cool captions more? Do they like the straightforward call to actions, or do they want the decision making to be their decision? Do they click the link in your bio, or do they prefer to swipe up? You want to try your best to figure out the best way to market yourself and interact with your followers and your customers. So use these social media insight tools so you can improve your marketing and improve your outbound conversion rate. You may also want to track and analyze the correspondence of your marketing. So this just means that if you have a funnel to a specific product, you might want to try different funnels and different strategies to get that customer to purchase that product. So let's say, for instance, you have this funnel, and on the top of the funnel, you have a few videos, educational videos. Those educational videos are supposed to drive your traffic to a landing page. And on that landing page, they're supposed to put their email and subscribe. And once they subscribe, they get a follow-up email with an offer. Maybe that offer has a discount, a special discount for subscribing. And then that's when the customers are supposed to purchase. That's a whole funnel. And you actually want to try different funnels to see which funnel is the best, which is converting the best conversion rate. So maybe the email isn't the way to go. Maybe they're supposed to purchase right at that landing page rather than subscribing and waiting for the follow-up email. Or better yet, maybe they're supposed to wait a few more emails before you can send them an offer and for them to purchase. You got to understand how your customers want to purchase and when they want to purchase. So try out different funnels and see what resonates more with your customers. Now, here are a few places and free apps you can start collecting data on your current customers, your followers, your leads, and your potential customers. You obviously have social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and you want to take advantage of all those insight tools that are embedded within the apps. They're going to let you know what your engagement rate is. It's going to let you know how many followers you get per week. It's going to let you know which posts and content pieces are resonating more with your followers, which one is going more viral, how many reshares do you typically get. It's going to let you know what your click rate is, who's clicking on your link, where they're coming from, and so on and so forth. You also have your website. As long as you connect your website to Google Analytics or Google Webmaster or any other website analytical tool, you're going to be able to analyze how people are reacting and resonating with your website. How long are they staying on it? What's the bounce rate? What's the conversion rate? What page are they staying on the longest? Where are they coming from when they're entering your website? Are they navigating through your website on their phone or on the desktop? So all of these different website analytical tools are going to help you understand how customers are resonating with your website. And if you have a blog, there are a few tools that will help you understand how customers and your followers are resonating with your blog. And the same goes for your email. There are a few tools that will help you understand how people are reacting and resonating with your emails. Are they clicking on the call to actions that you have within your email? Are they staying on the email long? Are they even opening up the email? What's going on? So make sure you take advantage of softwares like MailChimp to help you with your emails and other softwares to help you with your blog, your website, and your social media. Now, to wrap things up, I want to remind you guys that as a small business owner or a solopreneur, You have to take advantage of the fact that you're small and still able to keep tabs on all of your customers. Take the time out now while you're still small to personalize and provide exceptional and comparable customer experience to your existing and future customers. But that's it for today's episode. I want to thank you guys for listening all the way through the end. And remember, if you really like what I'm doing, I want you guys to share, subscribe, and leave a comment. But most importantly, share this podcast, maybe this episode or the entire podcast, to an entrepreneur or an existing business that you would like to see succeed. That's it for now. Make sure y'all keep hustling and stay blessed.
I just wanna buy my mama a house.